Now, before I begin your reading, I need to show you to tell you at the beginning that if this does not resonate with you, it is not for you. So it's so many different readings out there as an oracle. You can go to them, and if this resonates with you, stay with me.
This is Josephine Gibbs doing a reading for Gemini in January 2019. Before I start, I want to let you know that this is not a tarot reading. It has nothing to do with tarot reading or predicting the future or anything like that. This is simply for you to guide you, hopefully, and get a sense of what you will be doing in January, the sense of flavor of the whole month, in how you would approach. It is a suggestion and friendly advice of how you may achieve or you may approach situations in your life. Okay, let's get started. I drew this card from the deck written and based on the book by Esther and Jerry Hicks. It is the best-selling book that they wrote about. It's called titled Ask and It Is Given. Now, these cards are really interesting for me because I found these in a charity shop and they called to me to do it. And I've always wanted to do something like this. And I didn't want to do a tarot because not that I don't agree with what they write in there. It's like a very long tradition, but I don't know enough about tarot. But I do know that I can give a lot of intuitive reading about so many of the zodiac signs. I've always wanted to do this. This is what my one wish that I had. And because I've been manifesting my desires, it has come through. It's got given to me. And I didn't want to hurry it, but finally it has happened for me this year. And I will share what I can give you, Gemini. Now, I have drawn 5 cards for you. The general one says, moods are indicators of my emotional set points. So, what it takes to mean is that when you continue to focus on any thought, it becomes increasingly easy to continue to focus on it because the law of attraction is making more thoughts like it available to you. So, what this means is that you actually have to think about your thoughts and emotions, your moods. And so often, what we feel like, or our mood dictates what we're thinking. And if you are doing this unconsciously, you're actually being led by outside dictating what you should feel, or what you should want, or what you want reality to become. So this is actually wrong. You need to be aware of what it is that you're actually being led to feel. And this means having a good, um, having the pulse, having a good feel of what it is that your moods are like day to day. And if you are in control of this, and if you are aware of this, aware of your own moods as indicators of your emotional set points, this means that you have so much more power over what will happen in your everyday life. This is very powerful. This is incredibly powerful, Gemini, because you are so, the word I'm looking for is somebody who changes their moods quite often at a drop of a hat. One little thing that happens and it changes your mood just like that. Snap your fingers and from happy you become all of a sudden. So mercurial, that's the word I'm looking for. That often you are very sensitive to what's happening around you, and even people affect you. Whatever people around you are feeling, you feel the same because you are very emotional in a way. Very, you're like the barometer of what people are feeling around you. Incredibly sensitive in that way. So within yourself, you're going to be aware of this as well. You got to be aware that emotionally speaking, you are developing a mood or you are achieving a habitual vibrational groove, so to speak. So be aware that whatever the mood that you're doing it, you can get into a rut of what you're feeling, and you're used to feeling this way. And you can change it. You can change your mood. You can put on a lovely music if you have been very depressed, if you have been feeling and you have done everything you could, you've gone you've taken some medication, or you have availed yourself of um, professional advice. You've been to the psychiatrist or therapist, and you have a good thing, but somehow this funk that you've been in has persisted. And especially around this time of the year, it feels like you have been in a rut. And don't think that you are stuck in this way. You should not be feeling stuck, because you have so many opportunities to change this and having a different kind of vibrational groove. Change the groove that you are on and becoming more positive. And part of this is actually having the power and realizing the power that you can change where you are at now emotionally. So that's your general. Now, in your first week, it says, behind my every desire is my desire to feel good. Okay, so every time you do realize that what you're feeling can necessarily affect your life. Because when you're feeling not so motivated, you're not going to do anything. You're not going to socialize. People are inviting you to parties, yet you don't feel like it, or nothing seems right. Any clothes you put on don't seem to fit well, and you feel now you're thinking, oh, I shouldn't eat too much. And because you've been lingering on your weight and all that, you feel it's like you don't have really good morale. It's very low, all-time low. And you're thinking, why should I bother? Why should I go and, look at other people and feel even more depressed because I look fantastic? But the thing is, you have to think about this. You have to think about that your thoughts, that every desire you have to feel good, that is in everything that you do. Okay, so, but the thing is, if you are constantly being by yourself, you don't have the stimulation, you don't have the stimuli that you crave, that you need. Other people are happy, then you feel happy. You are so generous in this way. Okay, there is no desire that anyone holds for any other reason than that they believe they will feel better in the achievement of it. Obviously, no one will think, oh, I'm going to do this, I want to do this so then I'll feel bad afterwards. You're not going to think that way. You're thinking, whatever I do, hopefully I will feel good because if it's fun, you will do it. Nobody is going to do anything that's not fun unless you are particularly morbid in this way. Whether it is a material object in a physical state of being, a relationship or a condition or a circumstance, at the heart of your every desire, Gemini, is the desire to feel good or to make others feel good. Sometimes you can get stuck in this feeling that nobody cares about me. So they constantly say something that makes you feel bad. But the thing is, it's just thought. It is simply a thought. And remember, what you thought can affect your emotional climate and the emotional climate around you. Because Gemini, you are very mercurial and you're like a barometer. So whatever it is that you want, you desire something, material object or otherwise, you really, really crave this thing that you want. So you have to think it in this way, that it is something that you do to feel good and to make other people happy around you. And this is a positive thing. And I commend you for that. And I think you should continue to do that, because every desire you have is for other people's good. But then you have to think, what's good for me for change? Instead of thinking about other people, think about what you want. All right. So to feel good, what is it you're thinking? Okay, Gemini, think, what do I want to do? What is it that brings me to feel good again? Okay, don't worry about weight or anything like that, or it's going to make you fat or anything. It's really ugly. Don't think this way, because it is you craving these things. You need to make sure that you eat the right food and not think that junk food is the thing that makes you and fulfill you, because this is the fat that your body is looking for, because it's very addictive. Okay, the sugar and the salt in a takeaway food is the one that you're craving for, because you have these things. The body craves this, but then it doesn't really get satisfied. You need to get proper food that you use, and it's actually simple to make. And then when you finish eating it, you feel refreshed. You feel you're actually getting the resources. You're getting all the nutrients your body needs. Because if you constantly buy a lot of takeaway food, then it will not sustain you. It will only just put on the sugars, will turn into the fat that. In fact, I suggest you go to a farmer's market for a change. Don't buy your vegetables and your fruits from the same place, because they are actually sourced from the same factory style farming, that all the fruits and vegetables you're eating are actually uh, taking away the nutrients. The roots are taking away the nutrients, and it often be depleted. So there's no taste in the food. Go to a different source of the fresh vegetables or fresh food that you have to buy. For example, eggs and so on. And they absolutely, these different sources of these kind of food taste amazing, because they are not actually battery. For example, they're not battery eggs. Um, the food that you're eating are actually not sourced in a way that they're not produced in a way that the animals they come from are not happy. Okay, they're not living a good life. They're not roaming around in a paddock and living healthily and eating the worms, whatever. And it's just amazing the difference between the two, the industrially produced food and the farm food. The difference between the two is amazing. There really is a difference between the two. So try to eat much more healthily and produce and buy the food. I know they're a little bit more expensive, but these days, you can source them and and go to the actual thing, go and get your car, drive to the farms and actually buy them from the farmers for a change, and just compare them. I dare you to do this for a change, and you'll be so much more healthy in this way, because your body is actually taking all the nutrients and things that we get from our food, but because you eat processed food too much, your body is not getting them. Okay, they're empty calories. That's all they are. So your body puts on more weight because of the fat in it, and the sugar and the salt that puts on a bit more and retains water. So pretty much most times, it's not all fat, it's also water and water retention. Okay, in your next card, my desires and beliefs are only thoughts. Again, this is a reminder that your desires and beliefs are simply that, they're thoughts. And if you think, ask, and it is given, whatever you're thinking, you're definitely going to attract towards you. So in the month of January, you have to go through your attention, what it is that you are attending to. What do you put your attention towards? Okay, is it through the wanting? Is it the desires that you want? Or is it the asking? Because you need to not be passive in this way. You have to think, okay, what is it that I want? This is what you want to happen. Okay, once you know exactly what it is that you want to happen, then it's a lot clearer in your mind. Then you know what to act on, because you need not just to think about it, but to also act on it too. Action is always what you need to follow your thoughts. You desire it, then go for it. So if you desire it not to happen, you're also asking it as well. You're saying, oh, I hope I'm not going to do this. I hope I'm not going to do this. So it's not going to work if you always go in a negative, because you're also attracting that which is a negative. Okay, so simply saying not is not going to prevent it from happening. You're also asking for it. Whatever it is that you're most worried about, it will come true. Because as you see, It's always what we wish for that happens. Because the intensity of the vibration of these thoughts, it will happen what you're most scared of. Because you keep saying, oh, I don't want this to happen, I don't want this to happen. So the opposite, think the opposite. Think of saying that, oh, this is what I want. This will happen to me. It will come to me because I deserve this. All right. In your last week, I will never cease being and desiring. It's incredibly important that you realize this, that you will never cease to be. Okay? Desires will all come to you, always constantly being born inside you. You can't, okay, so you're thinking of something. After that, you're thinking of another thing. So it never stops. Whatever you're thinking, it will come to be because that's what you're attracted to. And you will act on it. For example, oh, I want an apple. I feel like eating an apple. Perhaps it's something like maybe a candied apple for you. Okay, so try not to do that. Saying, oh, I love the crunchiness of an apple. And obviously, when you go to the supermarket, you see the apple and you're attracted to it and you buy it. You see how thoughts of wanting an apple becomes reality so quickly? It is incredibly like that. Source will never stop answering your desires, and your expansion is, and therefore eternal. So it is that you, almost like when you're doing a prayer, what you pray for comes to you, isn't it? So if you're being asking for something, of course, the Lord, the Father, or God, or the universe are not going to give you the opposite thing, because what is deepest in of your desires will come out. It is not going to be hidden. All right. Sometimes you have guilty thoughts and so on. So what? Own it. Own your thoughts, Gemini. And you may begin to relax. And if this is that moment that you are owning it, there is something you desire that has not yet come to fruition, and it will. Eventually it will, because you will not stop and you will constantly and train and focus your attention on it. Okay, so Gemini, I hope you enjoyed your reading and you have a wonderful year and be safe. Take care.